And so I think, based on the conversations that this board has had and this administration has had, I think there are just some things that we know are immediate needs based on the growth projections, based on some of the issues that have been revealed during the pandemic. I think the 2017 bond is going to be very different compared to any future bond that we have. A lot of stuff, like a new elementary school, like I don't think we're going to do that this time, right? And the selection of a school site, I don't think we're going to do that this time. So while I agree that I think more time went into the 2017 bond process, there were brand new facilities like a East Side Transportation Complex that needed to be fleshed out, or elementary school. Number, what is it, 8, I think, 7? Rodriguez. So anyway, so 3 appointments per trustee. If I want to appoint 3 teachers, 3 parents,
So
3 students, whatever that is, I think it's the purview of each of us to decide what we value or want to see on the committee representing our districts or ourselves or our ideologies.
Dr. Salmi?
Thank you. I had a couple of questions. What are we being asked to bring to the December 17th or whatever meeting?
Names, 3 names.
3 names for
And
people
when you
that
bring
we are being
names-
asked to put on a bond committee that we haven't approved to form yet.
Well, we can wait till January if y'all wanna, if y'all
I'm just asking, but I also have another question for clarification. Mr. Sandoval, you're having an appraisal of the facilities done. The soonest possible date that we would get that is February?
So we, last school board meeting, we were talking about having to go through the process of finding a design firm that would be able to come in with facility stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we consulted with the attorney. We didn't have to competitively bid it. We did send it out to multiple, potential firms.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So those responses are due back, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So at the next board meeting, we'll bring a recommendation to y'all to approve this firm based on the criteria that we outlined. So after that, I would expect, I mean, with the holidays, I mean, I would expect maybe by January, middle of January, that they would be able to come back. They're gonna be able to, I think what, Trustee Arredondo, I think he brings up a very valid point in the sense that a lot of the stuff we're gonna do, maintenance related, it's more renovation to facilities, it's not a lot of big ticket items. It's a lot of items, but not a lot of big ticket. There's a lot of little things that we can accomplish.
One of them.
That answers your question.
It does, but one of those items is a 95% capacity high school, and so we haven't been presented with the options available to us to include in this
So
bond.
we've, if it's okay to say, we've done some legwork behind,
Understood.
and we're ready, we're not ready, but we've got some ideas, we've had some drawings done, just some different scenarios for somebody to for y'all to consider.
Uh-huh.
And provide these over to the firm that we decide to use.
Uh-huh.
And we're gonna work with that.
We've also looked at like Mendez Elementary, that was identified when we were looking at that as a potential central office site. So we did a site study of that, of what it would look like, because I think at the time, the cost of the roof was significant. It was gonna add a significant cost, and so we looked at potentially looking at a new site on the same property. So we met with the city before Thanksgiving, because I know that they want access to some of that property for flooding control. So we had to look, so we have been talking between them and us to look at what a potential elementary renovation would look like on that property, addressing the city's needs as well,
Okay. So,
since it takes
So I
time.
think an answer to your question is, for the high school and then maybe even for the middle school, we have an idea, we have some solutions.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a K-8 campus, on that Mendez property.
Uh-huh.
Those are some of the things that we're looking
Sure.
at, road out there.
okay, just my honest opinion is there's no need to rush this for the May election. That is my feeling about this personally. Because this is a really important decision that we need to make, and rushing it to get this year instead of next year seems like a poor judgment, in my opinion. So is there any reason, Mr. Sandoval, that you would think, is our capacity such that we need to have this bond approved in May? I know that the demographer said 95% capacity at the high school currently and at Miller currently, although Goodnight is not at 95% capacity, so we certainly have some room for growth there within that grade range.
I think from a capacity issue, we could probably wait, but, I mean, like we've always talked about time's money.
Understood, understood. Yeah, I'm just, yeah, okay, thank you.
Mr. Shanks, did you have your hand up?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Halsey?
Yeah, I just had a question. Mr. Sandoval, since you don't need to go out for competitive bid to appoint the firm, do you actually need board approval, or cannot staff just move ahead with that?
No, we do, we still need board approval.
Are we sure? Because I feel like that might be the case. You could just, if we could just give you permission to move ahead with that with it.
We were told, and Mr. Gold can jump in, that we needed board approval for the firm that we selected.
Okay.
Because of the contract amount.
It's over
Yeah.
Even though it's-
50,000.
Yeah, it'll be over
If
50,000.
it's over 50,000, they have to bring it to the board.
But if it's not over 50,000, don't you have to have a bid? No.
Not for the, we didn't have to put it in the news, we didn't have to go through that process. We are competitively bidding it by sending it to multiple vendors, or potential vendors, but we didn't.
Okay. I just thought the threshold was the same for board approval and the bidding process, so I was wrong. That's fine.
Mr. Arredondo?
Yeah, so just to like circle back and close the loop on my request. Agenda item, upcoming board meeting, discussion and possible action regarding the appointment of a insert whatever name we want, but not bond committee, more so Citizen Facilities Oversight Committee.
That's what I wrote it down, as a
Okay,
citizens
good.
oversight.
I know the
Not
comment was just
necessarily for
made,
the
like,
bond.
we're appointing a bond committee, but Citizen Facilities Oversight Committee, so just wanted to clarify what my request was. And then my proposal is, which obviously is up for debate, interpretation, and vote in December, but to give people an idea of where I'm coming from, 3 appointees per trustee, and then 9 from the administration. Whatever that makeup is whatever, for a total of 30 people. And I'm assuming there's going to be a lengthy debate in December, which is great. I welcome it. I look forward to it. But again, if we have the conversation in December and we don't take action, so be it. But at least we have that conversation now. But if we say we're waiting until January, then we might hem and
Wanna
haw
start the
another.
conversation.
Well, no, I want to
Are
have the
you-
conversation.
Is this an action item?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yes.
like, even though it's agendized for action, we've taken these items and decided to table, right? So until we get there, until we cross the bridge, we don't know if we're gonna do something with it or not. So that's where I am.
Anyone else?
No, but I had a clarifying question.
I want to say, when we ask for 3 names, I would need their name, their phone number, and their email, so that we don't put all the burden on Alicia to try to find all these people for us. So if everybody turns in 3 names with a phone number, address, and email,
And what are we asking these people to do when we talk to them?
to serve on a Citizen Facility Oversight Committee.
Will they need to come up with what we're gonna put in this bond, or is that gonna be presented to them by the administration?
Typically, we present the needs and then they approve or they provide recommendations. Like the last time, I didn't actually say anything the first meeting, and the citizen committee got mad and said, we want to hear from you on what the needs are of the district.
Absolutely appropriate.
It's actually your husband that got mad.
I'm not surprised.
I listened to him and reflected and then came back with where we were at from like a perspective facility-wise. And then they had debates amongst themselves, like, we don't need this is a need, and then they started narrowing it down to bring
And
back.
so their role is to provide citizen input and guidance on the recommendations of the district, and they will be provided with cost estimates at some point between now and the May 23 election.
Correct, finance options.
When do we have to get this on the ballot? I know someone already looked into that.
The February board meeting.
So we have to have a number.
To call the election for
Right,
May.
with a number.
Which
Yes.
arguably the committee could say at their first or second meeting,
It ain't gonna happen.
we're doing it in November, or we're
Correct.
waiting until 2024,
Sure,
Correct.
or
sure. Okay,
hell no, right?
Understood.
So
So I just want to be able to tell someone what I'm asking them to do when I
Correct.
call them and ask them to do it.
So,
like-
Correct.
just to confirm, I'm asking 3 people to possibly do this since we haven't voted. Would it make more professional sense to wait until we've had the vote and it gets approved before we ask people? And we can always ask them after that meeting and have those names sent?
Unless you say something like, we're talking about this, would you be interested in it? If it's approved, would you be interested in serving? And you could have several people to ask before you find 3 that are willing to work on this.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm what we were doing.
Because it does seem like we're asking before we've approved.
Putting the cart before the horse.
I can provide the board with information about how often the previous committee met. I know somebody.
And we also made every board meeting at that time, we made every citizens advisory meeting an open meeting. So every board member was invited to listen and participate, but no action was taken.
Yeah, I'd like to,
I
maybe we
remember.
can get a summary of possible commitment level that, you know, a little, I guess a little cheat sheet that we can say, hey, this is what we're looking for in this committee. This is the time commitment that you're going to have, you know.
There was a lot of meetings before we got going with
This is my first one, so I'm noob, so I'm coming out of this with ignorance.
Absolutely.
So, and I admit that. So if we could get some kind of understanding of what I'm asking people to do, I would feel more comfortable with that, if that's okay.
Ms. Mejia, did you have anything to add or to question? Can't hear her. She said something, but she may have not.
On item 8A, did we say we're postponing that? I missed that.
Yeah, or it's till the general meeting, the
January
regular
meeting?
meeting.
Yes.
No, December,
Oh,
Yes. For December,
the regular meeting,
yes, our regular board meeting for
The training,
yeah.
the vote on the train.
the vote on the training
We moved it to the December regular meeting.
Okay,
on December 12th.
okay. Okay, got it, okay.
Okay, do you want to, are we done with your?
Do we know what
review?
trustee Mejia said or no?
Yes.
Can she
she's
put it
out
in the
of town.
chat?
She's in the port.
we can't.
We can't hear you.
But like, can she put in the chat or someone message her, like, hey, we can't hear you?
I think somebody posted it in the chat.
Can you put your question in the
Did you have any questions, Ms. Mejia? No? Okay, we'll proceed.
Okay.
You hadn't finished.
Item 8A, approval of consent agenda items. Item 8A, approval of minutes for the special call board meeting on October 27, 2022, the regular scheduled board meeting on November 14, 2022, and the special board meeting on November 28, 2022. Item 9, items for action. Item A, under operations, consideration and possible action to approve the design firm for the San Marcos CISD facility-wide assessment. I think that's
Take
facility-wide.
white out.
It's just switch them. Facility-wide assessment. Item 9B, under finance, consider approval of budget amendments. We currently have 2 budget amendments. And Madam President, that's it for administration.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to this agenda? I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Redondo, seconded by Dr. Sami, that we adjourn. There being no further business, we're going to be adjourned.